You there, Anthony? What, did you have to do something on your end?
always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yes, it is. Live from the heartland, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Who do you want in your foxhole on a Friday? Just breaking daylight, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Let's get moving. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, Russian attacks on Ukraine have ramped up again only days after Vladimir Putin met with President Trump in Alaska. Seems Putin wants war and nothing else. Number two, one of Joe Biden's key aides, one that defended his mental ability for years. Well, it turns out Ian Sams only saw Biden on two occasions. And number three, a big day for President Trump. First, a huge win in New York where the more than $500 million bogus judgment against him was tossed out. That's right, the whole Tish James scam got tossed. Judge Engoron ripped for not following the law. Now they're on the receiving end of criminal investigations. You know, that karma thing, it's real. Well, you know. And then President Trump took a ride around D.C. with law enforcement as the crackdown on homelessness and crime continues. Is it working? Is it working? Well, apparently, not a single murder in a week. Not one murder in D.C. in a week. Listen.
Guard hit the ground in Washington last week. That city's crime fight went into overdrive. And now we're seeing the impact and the dramatic reductions in crime. When the National Guard rolled into Washington last week, the locals seemed skeptical.
The crime is minimal here. There's not really a lot of crime here. It looks like window dressing to me.
But with the Guard on the ground, crime is on the decline. For the first time in a long time, D.C. has gone 7 days without a homicide. And that's not all. Carjackings are down 83%. Robberies are down 46%. Car thefts down 21%. And overall violent crime is down 22%.
When you have these kind of numbers going down, it basically says this is a success, and that means people feel safer.
Like many big cities, Washington's police department is critically short-staffed.
People who don't feel safe aren't free.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says it is ripe for federal help.
More police generally equals less crime.
That's right. More police, less crime. And there's a point that I had missed in all of this. All of these major cities, pretty much all of them, when it gets to their police department, terribly short-staffed. So let's get to it. It's Free Speech, Free for All Friday, powered by Patriot Mobile's Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. Your chance to speak up and be heard. 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966. Sage is set. Let's get to it. Starting us off today, Ray in the great state of Virginia here. Ray, welcome to it. What do you got?
Yeah. Well, I watched you yesterday with Dr. Gina, and I just wanted to say you were dead on, because if all these people had their names put out there, you'd probably have 100 federal lawsuits, and they wouldn't be cheap, and they'd blame Trump for every bit of it.
And to explain to people what Ray's talking about,
right.
There was a conversation we had yesterday on a different program about releasing all the Epstein everything. Just release everything without regard to who's on it or why they're there or anything. And my take on it is simply that you're going to hurt a lot of good people that maybe they ran into Epstein at a party, maybe they had their picture taken with him, whatever it might be. Just because they had their picture taken with him or they were someplace with him doesn't make them a pedophile or a criminal. We have to be very careful about whose names get released and for what reason. That's the point I was making, Ray, and I appreciate you saying that. Go on.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anybody else say that on the air or anywhere. And I was really glad that you put Dr. Gina down a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that, Ray.
They talk a good story, but it doesn't add up.
Well, you got to be careful out there. You can't hurt good people, Ray. Thank you very much. You can't hurt good people just because. Look, do I want to know who the pedophiles are? I do. Do I want those people held accountable, put in prison? I do. But you can't just go on a complete fishing expedition and haul in everybody and throw everybody out there as if they're all the same, because they're not all the same. Bill Clinton went to the island. A lot of other people did not. Donald Trump knew Epstein, was friends with him for a period of time until he tossed him out of Mar-a-Lago. It's not all the same. Ray, really appreciate that phone call. Let's go to Steve. He's in Idaho today. Steve, good morning.
Good morning. Tell me, is there any room in that foxhole of freedom?
Oh, there's always room in the foxhole. We can turn it into a bunker. How about that? You like that?
Hey, you guys going to rearrange your name to relevant and verified?
I like that. So we can just kick MSNBC to the ditch of the dustbin of history, as they say. Relevant and verified. I like that. Go ahead.
Right. Here's MSNBC. Most see nothing but conspiracy.
Yeah. How about BS now?
The reason
Anyhow,
I called our double E bonds that we bought many, many years ago.
Oh, sure.
Under the U.S. Treasury, a lot of them are still around and are unclaimed.
Yeah, that happens.
Can you check into that?
Well, they get on. Look, I went through. Both my parents died. My mother had a whole stack of those things, just stuffed away somewhere. They could have easily been missed. My mother was a bit of a hoarder. Easily could have been missed.
I guess there's a website you can go to.
You can.
Every state has a Treasury website.
That's right.
Unclaimed savings bonds.
Yeah, well, they've got unclaimed funds, period. You can go find unclaimed insurance money, unclaimed rent money, unclaimed utility money, unclaimed, all of it. Every state has unclaimed funds. And if you've never looked at it, it's kind of fun. I found money there.
Let's see, the double E bonds. The double E bonds were worth $200, and if they matured, they were worth $400 plus principal and interest.
Right. They cut off at some point, though. They don't go on forever. But anyhow,
right, 20 years, I think.
That's right. Great stuff, Steve. You're right. There's a lot of money floating around out there. I went to unclaimed money, and I found money there that was owed to me. Remarkable. Frank is in North Carolina. I don't know if he needs money, but he's on the line. Frank, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Good morning, Steve.
Good
Steve,
morning.
I'm trying to find the answer to one question. Does the United States buy other countries' debt? And if we do or did, how much do they owe us?
Well, no, I don't know if we do, Frank. It's a great question. Usually we just give our money away like the Marshall Plan. We just give our money away. You know, for the first time in a long time, Donald Trump's deal with Ukraine, you want weapons? Great, buy them. And Europe can pay the bill. That's the best deal America's had in a long time. Usually we just give our money away. Taxpayer money, oh, yeah, we'll give it here, we'll give it here. We still do way too much of that. But that's a great question. I don't know the answer, Frank. I'm going to go dig into that. Do we buy other people's debt? If so, how much and who owes us what? Free speech, free for all Friday, 877-310-9966. Your chance to speak up and be heard. I'll be right back. All right, it is Free Speech, Free for All Friday. For anybody who's not been here before, it's a chance to pick up the phone, and if you get through, Brock will clear you. He'll find out where you're calling from. You tell him what you want to talk about. He'll say whether it's good or not. Usually gives a thumbs up. Don't make Brock kick you out. And then you can hit here and speak up and be heard across the country and around the world. Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Brought to you by Patriot Mobile. By the way, patriotmobile.com. If you go there today and use the promo code Gruber, you'll get your first month of wireless service absolutely free. Patriot Mobile is a great American company. All right, let's go to John. He's in Louisville. John, how are you today?
I'm fine, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. What's on your mind?
Well, this is kind of different, I believe. First of all, I enjoy the show. I really enjoy the whole network. But I wanted to make a statement. For about 12 years, I'm the only personal friend that the Biden family ever had. And they're a really tight-knit family, as you can probably figure out by now. But I was surprised nobody came to talk to me. And incidentally, there's another thing that I'm surprised that there's an entire story about Frank, not about anything illegal or anything like that, but it's just an incredible story about him, and still no one's come to talk to me.
Well, how are you friends with the Biden family?
All the receipts, as you call them.
Yeah, how are you friends? How are you friends with the Biden family?
Well, I sponsored their youngest brother for about 12 years, and in a sobriety group. And therefore, I mean, I've stayed in their house. They've stayed in my house. I've had Thanksgiving dinner with them. I've learned so many things that only family went to.
Yeah, well, what do you know about them? Good or bad?
You know,
thumbs up or thumbs down?
I know the groups they hate. I know good and bad.
Interesting. Well, tell you what, John, hang on the line. Brock's going to make sure he gets your number. We're going to further vet you because, you know, it's just a call-in show. But you sound like you're the real deal. We're going to get your phone number. I'm going to call you after the program. We'll find out if the deal is real, and if it is, I'll talk to you. How about that? And we'll put it on the air. All right, sit tight, John. Brock's going to take your name and number, Louisville, Kentucky. John says he's friends with the Biden family, knows good and bad. We'll find out if that's true or not. It's a call-in show. I don't know, folks. What do you think? Well, let's ask Patrick. He's in Vegas. He's a betting man. Are you betting for it or against it, Patrick?
Well, for him. Hey, Steve, the Truth Gruber. We love your show.
Thank you.
And I'd like to talk about Hillary Clinton when she was flying around the world as the collecting all this money for the Clinton Foundation. And she orchestrated the sale of our uranium.
Sure did.
To Russia.
Sure did.
20% of our top-grade uranium, she orchestrated it, and then 12 weeks later, she receives a $144 million check to the Clinton Foundation from Vladimir Putin.
Now, that I don't know about, but I do know we sold the uranium. And don't forget the Clinton Global Initiative. There's two. See, there's the Clinton Foundation. That's one. And the Clinton Global Initiative, that's two. They're two big machines that gobble up money and send it out to, well, who knows where, but not to you and I, and probably not for much good either. You're right about all that, Patrick. You're right. I don't know how big the check was she got.
Yeah, it's still criminal.
Oh, it's that.
Anyway, the second thing is, I would like to know who abandoned those two astronauts up in space for 7 months, and the Department of Transportation is in charge of NASA. I couldn't believe that. And this guy, Pete Buttigieg, they go from
he's running for president. Keep that in mind.
And he just walks off the job, and he
can be your
leaves
guy,
two
Patrick.
astronauts up in space. That's criminal.
Thank you for the phone call. Greatly appreciated, Patrick. Look, Buttigieg wants to be president of the United States. What do you think of that? All right, shifting down. Sean is in Michigan. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you for taking my call. Love your show.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I have, listening to your other callers, this question is kind of piddly to theirs, but I'm just wondering, why are gas prices so high in Michigan still? And I was just wondering if it has something to do with crooked Governor Whitmer.
Well, let's see here. The national average is $3.14 today. In Michigan, the average is $3.30, so we're 16 cents. This is according to AAA, of course. 16 cents. We do live on a peninsula, you and I, Sean, and people claim, I don't know if it's true or not, but people claim because of that we pay higher energy prices because they have to ship it up the peninsula. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, and maybe it's because of taxes. We pay a lot of taxes here because of Governor Whitmer. Look, a barrel of oil costs what it costs in the world market, about $75 today, maybe a little bit less. That's what a barrel of oil costs. I haven't looked at it recently, but we'll just say that's what it is. The difference is shipping and taxes. Shipping and taxes. Transportation, that's it. Mostly taxes. That's why California's gas is so expensive. All right. Let's go to Brian in Iowa. They're growing corn to put in my car out there. Brian, how are you?
I'm fine. A couple quick things. You know, the governor's giving the license to the illegal migrants and they're running into people.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't we put them in jail like they did? Hold on, my alarm went off.
No,
Why can't we put them in jail like they put people in jail? And the other thing is, my friend has insurance. His wife got the shot. They can't afford to go through all this stuff. She's messed up. She's afraid to find out what's wrong with her, but they can't afford to go get stuff done to them because they have insurance.
That's a big problem with the long COVID, the vax injuries, which are real. Anybody who denies vaccine injuries is just not telling you the truth. I appreciate the phone call, Brian. I wish there was more we could do. That's a terrible topic. How many people were hurt by the shot? How many people do you know? I mean, I got terribly sick from it. And then I got terribly sick from COVID. Very similar illness, by the way, almost identical. All right, we'll take a break. We've got a lot of calls to come. JD and Bill are straight ahead, and then more. It's Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Patriot Mobile's Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966. Yeah, I know that one. So just back to the, I go back to the gasoline price. I was just kind of curious about it. $3.14 today. It was $3.15 a week ago. A month ago, it was $3.14. So it's been basically the same for a month. A year ago, it was $3.38. So we continue to come down from Joe Biden pricing to more reasonable pricing. All right. This part of the program brought to you by the good folks at PuraClean. They have this great program called PuraVet. It's a chance for veterans. If you are a veteran or know a veteran, a chance to get into a business. It's a restoration business. They'll put you to the front of the line. They'll pay some of the fees. They'll set you up and say, thank you for serving our country. You can find out more at purovet.com or call them at 855-PUROVET. Back to the phone lines now. JD is in Florida. JD, how are you today?
Morning, Steve. How are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
Hey, I got two quick questions, kind of trivial at this point in time. The first one is that Supreme Court appointment that Biden made. I wonder if he could even recognize that woman if she was standing in front of him.
That's a fair question.
I want to ask about what's that now?
I said that's a fair question. Go on.
I also want to reach back to, insurrection that they call it. Who built that damn gallows in the parking lot of the Capitol building overnight?
Maybe it was a federal officer trying to get a rise out of people. That's always a possibility.
I mean, not one camera saw that thing being built.
Isn't it remarkable?
And not one security guard asked a question.
Yeah, isn't it remarkable? All right. It's a remarkable thing. Yeah, nobody saw it. It just appeared magically out. It just grew like a flower. It's remarkable. JD, thank you for the call. Greatly appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Look, it's your chance every week on Fridays to be heard. And I ask you to support the great companies that make it possible. Companies like the Wellness Company that make the gold standard emergency kits to put in your house, in your car, anywhere you go. Antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics, drugs you may need in an emergency, no matter what happens. TWC.health/Gruber. TWC.health/Gruber. Check it out. They've got supplements, spike protein formula if you got the jab and you don't feel right. Everything you need. TWC.health/Gruber. Support the people that support me. We'll be right back with more Free for All Friday. All right, back at it now. I really do want you to support the people that support this program. I don't ask you that too much, but it's important. And I realize that sometimes we put on, you know, the guests are sometimes my partners to make this program possible. Some of you don't like that so much. Well, you appreciate the program, right? You appreciate me being here. So I appreciate the support and the indulgence. Sometimes I have to share the time with my partner so they can talk to you and tell you what they're up to. And maybe you'll like their product. People like Hillsdale College that offer you free education on this little piece of paper here we call the Constitution. They're free. They're not even hawking anything, just giving it away for free. Gruber4Hillsdale.com. There it is. You see how I did that? Don't try this at home. You might, sprain your tongue. All right, so let's see. Who do we have next? I think Brock's laughing at that one. Bill in North Carolina is what we got. Bill, how are you?
Good morning, Steve. I'm better than I deserve, but for the grace of God.
Amen.
Living in the high country of northwest North Carolina, 5 miles away from Appalachian State University, and I bet you know who they are.
Yeah, I remember them from circa 2005. We missed the field goal.
Yeah.
We missed the damn field goal at the end of the game. We should have won. We didn't. That's the way it is.
Steve. 2007, Steve.
Oh, it's 2007. Sorry. Thank you, Brock, for rubbing salt in the wound. Really appreciate it. All right, Bill, what's on your mind?
Appalachian State has come a little ways from being a little teacher's college.
Yeah.
We're up here still trying to recover from Hurricane Helene. Things are still a tremendous mess. A lot of reclamations. I have one neighbor that has finally gotten back into their house with well and electricity and all the niceties, have a road to the house. But then I've got other neighbors that don't have a house.
Even now.
So things are still bad here. This is not Asheville. They get all the attention because they they have an airport.
Hold on. What's the nearest town to you, Bill? What's the nearest town to where you are?
Boone, North Carolina.
Boone. Nice town, by the way.
Yeah, that's where Appalachian State is.
Right, okay. Go ahead.
So anyhow, that being said, I do want to say, being that Asheville leaning the way it goes, it gets all the attention, and we're still hurting bad here. I have neighbors that didn't survive it. I have one major comment or observation that I wanted to get out, and try not to run out of time. But if you want to see the Epstein files disappear, somebody needs to connect them to the hundreds of thousands of lost kids in this country. I think you'll find out that the Epstein file story goes away like a match being lit.
Well, you might be right. How sad of a story is that, Bill? It is. The Biden administration allowed 300,000 kids in. Yeah, 300,000 kids in with God only knows who.
300,000 missing kids?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's terrible. Bill, thank you for the call, and thank you for the update from Boone, North Carolina. Still tough up there. Helene wrecked it for a generation or two. But those hill people, those folks on those back roads, they fight back. They get things done. Takes time, but they get there. Great conversation. All right, Fran is in New York. Fran, welcome to the program.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. This is going to sound crazy, but I'm just going to go with it.
All right.
We all know about COVID and the origins of it. Sorry.
Yeah,
but,
you got it.
You also probably, you probably also know about ticks and Lyme disease in Plum Island. There's a book called Bitten you can get off of Amazon telling you that it was bioengineered, the ticks disease. But now, if you look, there are rabbits in Colorado that are growing horns. Deer from New York to Wisconsin are growing, they call them bubbles. And squirrels are coming up with warts all over them. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look on X, you can search for the articles and the pictures.
Well, I've seen deer with that kind of disease. I've seen deer with that kind of disease for 50 years. That's nothing new. I haven't seen any rabbits growing horns. They call them jackalopes, by the way, out in the West. I'd have to verify that.
No, they're growing all over their bodies, not on top of their. It's all over their body.
What, the deer? I know, I've seen it. Oh, rabbits. So what? Are growing? Okay. I'll have to look into that, friend. It does sound nutty, but I'll look into it for you. I will. If it's true. Here's the thing, all right? For Fran or anybody else? You got something seems a little bit off like that? Send me an email. Go to stevegruber.com. Send me an email. You got something weird going on? I'll look at the book Bitten. She said that Lyme disease was created. Maybe it was.
I sent you a picture of the growths.
Okay, I'll look at that. Just 1 second. Thank you, Anthony. Can we put it up? Let's see here. Well, that's gross. Is it real? Come on, is this real? This thing's got like tusks coming out of his head.
Yeah, it's real. They're like weird growths. It's just a whole thing.
But it's not horns, is it?
No, it's not horns. It's like these.
Like an infection.
Yeah.
All right, put it up. I want people to. Okay, there it is. Fran's right. There's photo evidence. Anthony's going to try to figure out. He'll put that up there for us in a second. Photo evidence. In fact, we'll get back to that. I'll play it at the top of the next segment so you have a chance to give me some real good pictures of. It's disgusting. How do they eat? Bizarre. It's bizarre.
Papillomavirus.
Oh yeah, there you go. So it's a rabbit papillomavirus. It creates so it's not a horn. It's a disgusting growth. Well, that makes me want to have rabbit for dinner, or maybe not. All right, let's go to Mike in Arizona. Maybe he's got rabid rabbits in Arizona. Mike, how are you today?
I'm fine, sir, and I'd like to thank you. As far as I know, you are the only live TV show that accepts viewers' calls, and it's greatly appreciated.
Bingo! You're right. I am the only live television, radio, streaming program in America that takes your calls every Friday, and I do it to honor Rush Limbaugh. He used to have open line Fridays. You remember that? That's why I do it.
Yes, sir.
Greatly appreciate it. What's on your mind, Mike?
Well, sir, if they really wanted to get to the deep state, I think they should investigate the Federal Reserve. And as far as the Epstein files being released, I ask, how about aliens and how about the Trump assassination attempts?
Oh, that's what I want to know about. Tell me about Butler. Tell me about the guy that was, staged up on the golf course. Tell me about these two. Where's the investigation? Where are the facts? Where is the truth? What is the story? Look, let's not kid around here. A .223 round at the distance that kid was on that roof in Butler, Pennsylvania, that's a lethal shot 100% of the time. If any, my 12-year-old makes that shot 100% of the time. I want the truth about that. Mike, I agree with you. All right, we're going to have the crazy Colorado rabbit pictures coming up. Papillomavirus. All right, we're going to have that. Ivy, will you get me a coffee cup, one of our nice ones? I want to show the folks, see if they'd like one. Ivy's passing through the studio, lovely as she is. You have to stick around for a little bit to see her today. It's Free Speech, Free for All Friday. I'll be right back. Well, you can only have so much. All right. How about the tusked rabbit? It's not a horned rabbit exactly. It's a papilloma virus. She was exactly right, though, was Fran. She sounds crazy, doesn't it? You can see the picture on your screen. Can you bring that full, or can they see that pretty well? Anyhow.
They can see it pretty well.
Yeah, there's a tusked rabbit. It's a papilloma virus. There you go. It's kind of unsightly, looks uncomfortable. It's transmitted by ticks and mosquitoes. It is not transferable to human beings. It is disgusting to look at. I would assume it's fatal at some point, you know, and I would think that they would try to get rid of this little virus. All right, so there it is. She was exactly right. The deer with bubbles will have to wait for another program. All right. Let me say this to you. I greatly appreciate you being here. For business owners, listen to me. If you're a business owner, any size, listen to me. Something is holding your business back, and you can't quite figure it out. What if in just one phone call, you could find the biggest bottleneck and have a clear custom plan to fix it? I have teamed up with my good friend Grant Cardone, the guy that wrote this book. It's right here on my desk every day. 10X. This is the book, folks. Grant Cardone and I got together. We want to give you a free phone call, a chance to find out what's going on in your business, free. Plus, get expert insights, proven systems you can use right away. Your breakthrough starts at Gruber10x.com. Gruber10x.com. If you're a business owner, it's free. It's a free phone call. There it is on your screen. Again, I want to support the people that support this program, that make it possible for me to take your phone calls every Friday and tell you the truth. Relevant and verified. R-A-V. Relevant and verified. All right. Linda is in North Carolina. Linda, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Morning. How are you?
I'm lovely. What do you got?
Hey, I'm the purple state of North Carolina. We're not red. I just wanted to know, I'm of Hungarian ascent. Why isn't anybody talking about the Russian, how the Ukraine took out the Russian pipeline in Hungary, who's staying neutral and all this?
I didn't quite understand you. Talking about Russia doing what?
The Russian pipeline in Hungary, how Ukraine drones went in and bombed it.
Yeah. Well, the Russians bombed the daylights out of Ukraine yesterday, 2 days in a row, too. Let me ask you this, Linda. Do you think either side actually wants peace here? Because
Ukraine did that days before Russia went in.
Yeah. It goes back and forth. I don't think anybody wants peace here. Zelensky's getting, you know, there's a bill on Capitol Hill. I think it's for $56 billion. Hold on, $56 billion more for Ukraine sitting on Capitol Hill for when the Senate comes back. I will be appalled if Donald Trump signs that bill for $56 billion. I'll just tell you right now, I will be appalled if we send more money to Ukraine. Yeah. Anyhow, Linda, I can't hear you very well on this line. I apologize, but I'm going to move on because I can't hear you very well. I don't know why. Carlos is in Florida. Carlos, how are you today?
Hey, Steve. Hey, the California governor is playing tit for tat with Texas, but didn't he cause this by doing all these, signing into law all these crazy laws and driving the people to Texas? So now with all these people in Texas, you have to redistricting. You have to do it. So didn't he cause all this? So why is he playing tit for tat? It's his fault.
Well, here's the thing, Carlos. Great call, by the way. Let's look at California, where they've codified mass mail-in ballots forever, where they can count those ballots sometimes 6 and 8 weeks after the election is over, where no ID is necessary to vote, where they have millions of illegal aliens that are counted in the census to give them seats in Congress they're not even entitled to. And right now, only about 19% of the people in Congress from California are Republican to begin with. They've already done everything possible to gerrymander California. So this idea that he's defending democracy is absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd. They're going to try to take it down to about 7% of the delegations, even though 40% of California votes for Republicans. And just wait until they turn Pacific Palisades and Malibu into low-income housing, which they're going to do. Carlos, thank you for the call. Pete is in the great state of Tennessee. Pete, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. I just want to ask all the viewers to do three simple things: either call or text or email or whatever your congressman and your senator and tell them, do not give Ukraine any money, and we ain't going to send no troops over there. The second thing is contact the NFL and tell them we want men with pom-poms, okay, or we ain't coming to your games.
Yeah.
And three, contact Cracker Barrel and tell them if you keep chasing them stores, you're going to be out of business, because I ain't going to that store. I went to Cracker Barrel. That ain't Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
We're done with this woke stuff. Trump's leading the parade. We're following him. He's like General Patton in World War II.
Attaboy,
So
Pete.
stop it or you're going to go broke.
Crack Barrel. That's what's going to be. If some crack addict created that new idea. We're going to rebrand Cracker Barrel. All right, brilliant. They've lost 12%. Their stock was down just yesterday, I believe. Cracker Barrel stock down 12%. Thanks, Pete. Let's get to Kevin. Speaking of California, I can't abuse them if I can't have somebody to defend them. Kevin is from California to defend the great state. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
Oh, the Fed. Good old Jerome Powell. I've been in the... Oh, first off, unsolicited plug for home title lock. 25 years in the mortgage business, and people should use it.
Well, there you go. See, people are skeptics. Go ahead, real quick. I've only got about 30 seconds.
No, they should. Okay, so here you go. Jerome Powell, worst Fed chairman. I thought Greenspan and Yellen were terrible. What are your thoughts?
I think it's the worst we've ever had.
He's terrible.
He's political, and that's a fact. He's political, Kevin, and there's just no two ways about it. I got to run. I am sorry. I'm up against the break. But listen, it continues. We're live on YouTube. That's the best place to go, I think, when you're watching the program. I really like the way it's working. A lot of folks over there. It's growing. We're on all the social media platforms. Free for All Friday will continue, and you can get one of these. Oh, wait, we still have another segment. I'm not done yet, but you can still get one of these. Are you ready to retire? Have you been planning for I love Free for All Friday. It's a chance for you to be heard, and greatly appreciate you always. Hey, here's something for you, a gift from me. Again, I beg of you to support the people that make this program possible. They're all good folks. I wouldn't tell you about them if I didn't believe in them, like My Pure Health. My Pure Health is taking 25% off your weight loss program.
Picture
If you don't
froze,
want to take...
Steve.
What's that?
There you go. I got you now.
All right. There. I don't know what happened, Brock. Anyhow, My Pure Health, 25% off the entire month of August on their weight loss programs. If you don't want to jab in the needle and you don't want heavy drug, you want to know what's going on with you and really lose weight, My Pure Health. Support the people that support this program. GruberHealth.com. You can find out more. It's a personalized, customized weight loss program for you. I've used it. You should too. All right. Let's see. Terry is in Missouri. Terry, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
I'm sure hoping you have an answer. I keep hearing, everybody keeps hearing from Tom Homan, Christy Nome, Pam Bondi, all of whom I respect and like, that they're coming after some of these governors and mayors that are aiding and abetting and harboring some of these illegal aliens. And yet nothing's happening. Do you have any idea why that is? Is there some legal reason they can't come after them because they keep threatening to?
No, you think they could? I'm going to be talking to Tom Homan on Monday. I'll be in D.C., and one of the interviews I'm going to have midday on Monday is with Tom Homan. I'm going to ask him that for you, Terry. Why are these governors and other officials, mayors, being insulated when they're promoting these policies that are clearly illegal? I don't know how else you would term it except they're clearly illegal.
Yeah, because that's truly another big magnet that keeps them there.
That's right. And they give them money. I mean, the governor of Massachusetts, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's just one example. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Make sure you continue to follow us.
Good answer.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to get Tom Homan's answer on that. Sean, Dennis, Gene, all the rest. 877-310-9966. Would you like one of these Steve Gruber mugs? Steve Gruber Show mugs. Would you like one of those? I'd like to hear from you. Go to stevegruber.com. Tell me if you'd like to have one of those in your possession. We're going to try to figure out how to get these moving. Just got them in. I think they're pretty cool. Oh, it says free speech rules, by the way. Free speech rules on the backside. We'll take all of your phone calls. The best place to keep watching, I think, is YouTube. You know, anyhow. Love having you here. It's a Steve Gruber Show, Free for All Friday. I'll be back.
I'll be right back. Got to get
always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
All right, here it is. Free speech, free for all Friday, live from Studio G, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom here in the heartland. Bit of a warning, the Steve Gruber Show often results in extended periods of American pride, optimism, and uncontrollable enthusiasm in this country's future. We're live in all 50 states and around the world. Let's do this. 3 big things you need to know this hour. Number 1, American warships posted off the coast of Venezuela. Donald Trump's war on illegal drugs ramping up, but what will it mean? Number 2, the far left, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals handed another huge victory to the Trump administration and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, which will be sending thousands more out of the country. We'll tell you about that. And number 3, what is happening in some places should concern you. In fact, it should frighten you. How are you being watched all the time and in ways you may not even realize? Listen to this.
If you have digitally verified ID, then you run into the problems of digitally verified ID, and they're running down that road in China now. So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too, although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, okay, so the digital ID system has you. It has your blood now. It has your genetic code. It has your photograph. It can identify how you walk, so even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait. It will convict you of jaywalking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Do you think that would be helpful or unhelpful?
It would be. I think it would bring in, and it has already in China. I think it would bring in a totalitarian tyranny.
You get it. Everything you do, and he says he thinks it's coming here. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What's coming here is Free Speech, Free for All Friday, brought to you by the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline. If you go to Patriot Mobile today, you'll get a free month of service by mentioning my name. Use the promo code Gruber. Mention my name. You're going to save money and be really happy with a company that defends this country. All right, we're going back to the phone lines. Sean is in the Detroit. Sean, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Steve Gruber. Big fan of yours.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
I am now proud to say that I am now a Republican. I was a Democrat for a long time. Until after the 2016 election, I see they did Trump wrong. So now I am a true Republican. So I'm calling because I have an idea of how they can get these illegal aliens round up and out of here. Maybe if Trump offers some type of reward to turn these people in, you have more people turning them in and showing where they whereabouts at. Because I have some friends that was wanted for. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a bounty is what you're saying. Yeah, that's what you're saying. A bounty. Yeah, let me ask you something, Sean.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. I saw this article.
I'm listening.
Maybe in the Detroit News yesterday, day before, saying all these Detroit businesses are just in shambles because the illegal aliens are being kicked out. I don't believe that. Are all the businesses in shambles in Detroit because the illegals are leaving?
No way. No way. I would say this. Labor is terrible. It's hard to find work for contractors, independent contractors, because illegal aliens are taking all the work. That's what's going on.
Right, and people want to be able to work at a real wage. Sean, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate the fact you were a Democrat. What was real quickly? What was the big thing that made you switch?
Big thing that made me switch is when I see how they prosecuted Trump and went after him for false narratives and stuff.
Yeah,
that's what made me switch. And seeing how the Democrats have always done nothing for the neighborhoods in Detroit.
Yeah. That's right. Nothing. That's exactly right. Sean in the Big D in Detroit. Sean, you call anytime, my friend. Keep us informed of what's happening in Detroit. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. A long way from Detroit is a place called South Dakota. That's where Dennis is. But, I really appreciate Sean. I was a Democrat. They do nothing for us. Nothing. And then they go after Trump over nonsense. All right, Dennis, what's on your mind? How are you?
My question today, thank you for taking my phone call. My question today is about the gas prices. You know, they base prices of gasoline off petroleum, but 10% of that's all ethanol, and that's corn. South Dakota is one of the only ones that have on some of their pumps where you can get 87 octane ethanol free or ethanol. You drop 2 to 3 miles per gallon whenever you use ethanol. And a lot of motorcycles and off-road vehicles and chainsaws and stuff like that use pure gasoline.
That's right.
Why are we paying the price of petroleum for corn? They should come down if they're going to put supplements in your fuel. And if you try to find pure gasoline, you have to go on an app called Pure.
Well, you got to pay more for it. They call it They call it rec gas in some places.
Yeah, you pay 50 cents to $1 more for pure
gasoline,
gas,
which is nonsense.
And you lose 2 and 3. Whenever I leave West Virginia and I go to South Dakota, as soon as I hit Iowa, it seems like they put more corn in Iowa and South Dakota. And
They're growing it there. They're growing it there. Dennis, I got to bounce, but you got it. They're growing it there. They're making money off it. That's why they keep pushing Chuck Grassley to keep ethanol around. Let's go to Gene in Washington. Dennis is right, by the way. Gene, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. What's on your mind?
My big deal is about the immigration thing still. Washington State seems like it's a free-for-all, this giant sanctuary where nobody ever gets thrown out of here and everybody knows who they are.
Right. Nobody gets thrown out because
Homan and them should come to Washington.
Why did Washington turn into a socialist mecca? And Oregon? Northern California is not that way. Southern California is cancerous.
It's fully attributed to the mail-in balloting.
Well, there's probably
anybody
a lot of truth to
can vote. You don't have to show ID or a darn thing. You can vote. You can vote your dead dog.
Yeah, and nobody knows the difference. That's what's sad. Mail-in ballots were the cancer of 2020. It's what I've always said. The voting machines might be problematic.
I'm fully in favor of same-day voting, paper ballots, show ID.
Amen, amen, and amen. I greatly appreciate that.
And I love your coffee cup.
Oh, hey, you know what? We're going to sell these. Would you buy one? Here it is, folks. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Free speech rules. I'm not sure what we're supposed to get out of them, so I can't tell you yet. But if you think it's something you'd like, we're going to figure this out. There's a nice, big, heavy coffee cup because I like coffee. $17.75 coffee. Hey, Gene, thank you for the call. $17.75 coffee, by the way. They got $250 bundles for $99 right now. You don't get one of these, but you get great coffee to put in your cup. $17.75 coffee. Use that promo code Gruber. Whenever in doubt, I don't care where you are. Use the promo code Gruber. Anywhere you go. If you showed it up at My Pillow and said, hey, I want a cheap pillow, put in Gruber. Magic happens. Every place you go with that promo code Gruber. And this coffee cup, if you want one, go to SteveGruber.com. Tell me you want one, and we're going to figure out the pricing on it. We'll ship it to you. I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to grab one more phone call here and then get on to my next guest, who I enjoy. My phone call here, Jerry in North Carolina, has been very patient. I want to make sure we get her in before we get to JT Young. Jerry, what's on your mind?
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have a little problem, actually a major big problem. By the way, I love you to the moon and back, Steve.
Thank you.
You're just so real and so caring. And thank you for everything you do for all of us. We
I appreciate
really,
that.
really love you. Anyway, to make a long story short, our electric bills are soaring. Mine was 900 and something. I wasn't the only one. We put in these Republican people, okay? We work hard at doing that. We have fish fries. We take time out of our daily life to help them. We call their offices. We don't get help. What's going on? Obviously, we can't get to poor Trump. He's got too much going on. The poor man, it's a wonder he even sleeps. What are we to do?
Here's what we're going to do,
This is out
Jerry.
of control. We
Yeah,
call Duke Energy, and they tell us, oh, it's you. It's not us. It's you.
It's
And then
not
we call
you.
the North Carolina Utilities, and the guy laughed at me and said, oh, did you know we're part of Duke Energy? They were the ones that implemented us. They put us in. So we
Jerry,
don't
here's
know
what I'm
what's
gonna do. I gotta
going
leave it
on,
there,
but we
'cause
have no help.
I greatly appreciate the phone call. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see the president this coming week, I believe. I'm going to try to, because this is not just happening in North Carolina, it's happening in the Northeast worse. That is the explosion of bills for electricity and so forth, triggered by the elimination of coal-fired power plants. Time to bring back big coal. Trying to bring back big nuclear. Time to bring back common sense to our energy grid. China's laughing at us, Jerry. There's the problem, and we need to get on track. If I get the chance to ask about energy next week and the fact that the electric bills are just completely off the rails, not just in North Carolina, but all over the country, I'm going to ask him that, all right? Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. All right, I got to get to JT Young. He's the author of Unprecedented Assault, How Big Government Unleashed America's Socialist Left. JT, welcome back to the program.
It's great to be with you, Steve, on a beautiful Friday morning.
Yeah, you know, so I keep seeing these people on CNN, MSNBC, 8 of the 10 worst states for violent crime are red states, which is completely dishonest. It's true, technically, all right? What the lie is that every one of those states, like Tennessee, is on the list. Why? Because Memphis is a wildly violent place that skews the violent crime statistics, and every one of those states has big cities, and every one of those cities, every single one is run by Democrats. They lie to us every single day, and the cities are failing. And I believe that Donald Trump in D.C., people are going to say, look, they haven't had a murder in 8 days. 8 days they haven't had a murder in D.C. How long has it been since that happened? People in Baltimore and these failing cities around the country are going to look and say, hey, we want that for our city. Can the National Guard come here? You watch, JT. They're going to say, we can lower crime. You're darn right we can. I think failing cities are a big problem for Democrats, and Donald Trump cleaning up D.C. is going to be a big siren to say, look what we can do if we get our act together. What do you think?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And it's only a revelation to the Democrats that enforcement works. And we've seen that. You're seeing it right now in D.C., as you just said. I mean, you actually are putting boots on the ground. And D.C. has been hamstrung since the defund the police movement. They've lost so many officers. They're overwhelmed. The police officers are always on the front line. They're great people. They're doing everything they can, but they don't have the support that they need from these cities. And you just mentioned it. They're all blue. They try to do the best they can, bring people in. Then you've got these Soros-backed DAs that are kicking people right back on the streets. You have judges that are putting on no bond. and these, are released. You have cities that are not cooperating with ICE, so illegal immigrants that are caught in crimes are not turned over for deportation. All of this compounds, and just what you said is happening, and you're seeing it. And you're also seeing when people decide that they're actually going to enforce the law, it works. We see this right now in California, which did Proposition 36, which repealed the basically the misdemeanor for shoplifting law. And what are you seeing? You're seeing shoplifting plummet in California. I heard you talking into your a previous caller about Washington. As you just mentioned, it's not the state of Washington, it's the city of Seattle. You see this over and over and over again, that they refuse to enforce their own laws, and they
at the expense of whom, JT? Who pays that price?
Right. It's the people on the
citizens.
ground. I mean,
That's right.
it's absolutely, and it's usually the citizens that the far left is claiming they're trying to help.
No, they're not trying to help anybody. The far left cannot function and strong arm and wrest control of the power unless they have victims. They have to have a permanent victim class, right?
Right. And you see this, where are the communities that are most affected by it? As you've just said, they're the low-income communities that
That's
are
right.
most dependent on the public services that these limousine liberals are refusing to give them. And they drive
100%.
back to their gated communities with their private security, and they leave these communities on their own.
That's exactly right. JT, I got to leave it there for today. Next time, I have to have you a bit longer. The book, Unprecedented Assault, How Big Government Unleashed America's Socialist Left. You can find it at Real Clear Publishing, part of Real Clear Politics. Great place to be. JT, always appreciate talking to you, my friend.
You too, Steve. Have a great weekend.
You too. There you have it. Good man right there. Democrats stuck with feelings. I'm going to give you the list of the cities right after the break here, all right? Don't go anywhere. I promise you'll list the cities, and I've got them hot off the press right here. All 10 states, all 10. Because Adam Mockler, the little Gen Z kid that was on here, a week or two ago, trying to tell me how Donald Trump's done everything wrong, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have him back, and he's spewing on CNN every time he's saying, well, 8 of the 10 murder capital states are Republican, they're red states, which is dishonest. Here's the truth. Here's the rest of the story, as they say. All 10 states with the highest murder rates in 2023 have major cities run by Democrat mayors that significantly contribute to their murder rates. Cities like Jackson, New Orleans, Birmingham, Albuquerque, St. Louis, Kansas City, Little Rock, Memphis, Chicago, and Baltimore are all key drivers, often with murder rates far exceeding state and national averages. There it is. States like Tennessee and Missouri, massive drivers. Kansas City, Missouri, Memphis, Tennessee, led by Democrat mayors, soft on crime, DAs, and murder rates that are out of this world. There's the fact. There's the fact for you to consider. All right. Meanwhile, what was Keensburg? Where is Keensburg again? There were 6 people found dead at a dairy farm. Where was this? Keensburg, Colorado. Keensburg, Colorado, 6 dead. It's Weld County. Possible gas exposure of some sort. It was released on just one news source pointed out. All 6 victims were adult Hispanic men. All 6 victims, adult Hispanic men. Were these guys in the country working illegally at this dairy operation? I'm going to hazard a guess and saying it's quite possible they were working at the dairy. I'm not sure what kind of gas exposure in a closed space. Don't know what the closed space was either. The people in Colorado very, very tight-lipped about this. We'll figure it out for you. Keensburg, Colorado, 6 dead yesterday. Possible gas exposure in a confined space. That's all they're telling us right now. I'll have details on this coming up. Straight ahead, Congressman Tim Walberg will join me. I'll be right back. So Donald Trump did a ride-along of sorts with those on hand to get rid of homelessness and crime in Washington, D.C. If I'm not mistaken, we're 8 days without a murder in Washington, D.C., 8 days. There hasn't been a week without a murder in Washington that anybody can remember. Pretty incredible. My next guest works in Washington a lot. His name is Tim Walberg. He's a member of Congress, represents Michigan 5. Congressman, welcome back to the program.
Good to be back with you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting back to D.C.
It seems that I think they cleaned up 75 homeless encampments, have arrested hundreds of criminals, and in addition to that, some illegal aliens as well. No murder in a week? I mean, look, you work there, and people can tell you, oh, it's safe, it's over. Donald Trump was a tyrant, this and that. Look, the people that live in D.C., I keep seeing, and I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'll be there for a week covering the White House, so I'm going to see for myself. But from everything that I'm seeing, the people that live there, that are lifetime residents of D.C., like this. Well, what are you hearing?
Well, we're hearing the same thing, in a city that had 6 times the homicide rate of New York City. People are not going to be demonstrating against law and order. I mean, they may be liberal, they may be anti-Trump, but in the end, when they can walk the streets, they know their families are safer. They're going to at least be quiet about what Trump is doing for the city. That's the capital of the United States. It's the United States' city, and he has authority to do that. And if the local government won't do what they need to do to protect the visitors and the residents of the city, then it is time for the federal government to step up, whether it be Congress or the president. And this president is willing to do it. And I think it's working.
Yeah, I'm firmly of the belief, Congressman, that when other cities see what has happened in D.C., look, all these major cities almost without fail have a shortage of police officers. They have a shortage of people to enforce the law. So, so they're up against it every single day. When other cities around this country see results in D.C., I believe they're going to be clamoring, hey, we want that. Our citizens want that. It's hard to deny law and order. Look, the one thing the government's supposed to do, your job as a representative, in my opinion, is to keep the people safe. That's the government's job, whether it's local, state, federal, the one job, keep your citizens safe, whatever that takes, whatever that means. Would you agree?
I would agree. I mean, that's our key priority, to preserve, protect, to defend the Constitution. And the Constitution is something that gives Americans more freedom and security than any other document in the world. And that's what's made America so special. And I think what will need to take place is that cities that are led by these radical Democrat governors and mayors and town councils are going to have to wake up. And it's going to come as a result of Americans themselves looking at their leadership and saying, if it can be done in the District of Columbia, the national capital, and done very quickly to take over control in the sense of law and order and encourage and benefit the law abider and discipline and punish the lawbreaker, then why can't we do it in our city as well? So
exactly.
I believe cities will be hard pressed to push back against their citizens.
Yeah. People are going to say, hey, I want some of that for my city. I'm just, if D.C. can go a week without a murder, maybe St. Louis can go a week without a murder. Maybe Memphis can go a week without a murder. Maybe, New Orleans, some of these other cities that have high crime rates. Anyhow, your education committee is opening an investigation into anti-Semitism at the nation's largest teachers union. This is a pretty shocking little headline here. Do tell.
Well, we've seen that unions who allegedly are representing their membership aren't necessarily doing that. We saw the AFT president, Randy Weingarten, making more than the president of the United States and taking slush funds, as it were, for travel, for limousine rides in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and making more than 6 times of what her membership, the teachers actually make. Also has been promoting anti-Semitism in various ways. We've seen that also in the other major unions in this country as well. And that's not something that should be acceptable in the United States. And I think what's even worse, Steve, is that they're also promoting anti-Americanism. Anti-Semitism is just the kind of the tip of the iceberg. but down deep, as we've seen on college campus demonstrations, it's anti-American as well. And in America, we're free to even be against America, but when it's pervasive in concept and philosophy, and it's being a tool of indoctrination of our citizens at taxpayers' expenses and at union members' expense, then we've got a problem. And if it develops in the way it has appeared, it could be tragic for this great experiment in Republican democracy.
Yeah. I was having this conversation. I was actually in Lansing at the State House here earlier this week, talking to a bunch of different people. And the unions, teachers' unions, I want to just focus on this for a second, continue to look after their members, their money, their power. But the one thing they seem to forget all the time, they seem to be called students. I mean, shouldn't that be number one, Congressman? Shouldn't that be the first thing on their list?
Yeah, people around Washington, D.C., and maybe my committee members are getting tired of Tim Walberg, their chairman, saying if we get three things right, we'll have great education and opportunity in this country. And those three things start with the student, the parent, and the teacher.
Wow.
You take care of the
Yeah.
student, parent, teacher.
Yeah.
The three aspects of education that makes things work. I think we'll have great education in the country. We haven't done that. We've taken care of union
Well, in
issues.
fact, in some places, they attack the parents outright. You have no place here. We'll tell you what we're going to teach the children. We know better than you, the parent. I mean, that is still the attitude of some of these union people. A lot of them, isn't it?
Well, we heard that expression, domestic terrorist. It was coming down from our attorney general back in the Biden days, when parents stood up at a school board meeting and said, wait a second, we don't want that going on in our schools, whether it was some educational tool that was being used that went against traditional, conservative, even Christian philosophy, or where they were taking boys and putting them in girls' locker rooms and allowing that type of thing to take place. And parents stood up, rightly so. What they saw during COVID, when they had a chance to look online and see what their kids were being taught in certain cases. And I'm not attacking all teachers. There's some wonderful teachers that are just as frustrated as I am. But we have got it wrong. And I think Randy Weingarten and others who lead these education unions, and what we've seen with some of the faculty senates in our major college universities, including places like Harvard and Columbia,
it's
MIT.
terrible.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah. Congressman, I got to leave it there. I'm glad you're here today in districts. Beautiful weekend on tap, I hope, anyhow. Congressman, thank you for being here as always. We'll keep up on this, and we'll talk soon.
Enjoy your week in Washington. I'll take care of Michigan.
Attaboy. It's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. Congressman Tim Walberg, there you have it. Never a dull moment, even when Congress is out. It's the Steve Gruber Show. I'll be back. All right, if you feel like being heard across the country, 877-310-9966, the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline, a free speech, free for all Friday. Yeah, inspired by the great Rush Limbaugh, it is opening up the phone lines to you across the country. We do it every Friday, free speech, free for all Friday. By the way, if you go to patriotmobile.com today and use the promo code Gruber, your first month of service is free. Can't beat that. And by the way, they do a lot of great things for people. They've given a bunch of equipment to the people in Texas after the Guadalupe River floods. They gave a bunch to the western North Carolina folks. They help out all the time because they believe in this country. And so it's not just phone service. It's people in your community that you care about. PatriotMobile.com. There you have it. Promo code Gruber gets your first month free. The nation's only Christian conservative wireless network. What are you waiting for? Get it done. The U.S. immigrant population has dropped for the first time in 50 years. For the first time in 50 years, immigrants are contracting. 1.6 million illegals have left already from January to July. 1.6 million self-deporting or getting tossed out. That number will increase throughout the year. 2.2 million total have left. The Pew Research Center, which can be trusted somewhat on occasion, but not too much, found 51.9 million immigrants remain in the United States, down from 53.3 million when Donald Trump was inaugurated. The proportion of immigrants in the U.S. still at 15.4% of the total U.S. population. 19% of the U.S. labor force immigrants as of June, down from 20% in January, which means what? Opportunities for jobs for American citizens. That's what that means. Opportunities for American citizens to get jobs that otherwise might have been left out. There you have it. All right, so how about other changes that are really getting people's attention? Changes in SNAP benefits. Apparently this is a real big problem for some folks, because now if you're an able-bodied adult, you have to do something. And when I say something, it's not much. Volunteer somewhere 15 hours a week. You can actually do it online. Get a job, get a part-time job, try to contribute, help out anywhere, somewhere. And it's still too much for some folks. You can volunteer at a food bank a couple hours a day. Maybe get some food to take home to your kids and still get your money from SNAP. And how much money do these people get? Well, some of it's pretty remarkable how much money people get for food to feed their families. But here's a welfare recipient demanding she do nothing but get everything she demands. You listen, you tell me.
Can someone please help me make sense of this? I've been receiving food stamps for the last 7 years, consistently. I just received a letter in the mail telling me that I now have to do community service hours at least 15 hours a week. I have to take out of my time things that I do every day to do community service so that I can still continue to receive the benefits that I receive. Mind you, I am receiving the maximum benefit. I get $2,000 in food stamps a month. But that is only because I have 3 kids. Now, how do they expect me to be able to do community service hours if I can't even get a regular job? So I'm at risk of losing my food stamp benefits because I'm not putting in effort? Are you serious?
Yep. We're serious.
She's getting 24 G's a year.
$24,000 a year in food stamps for 3 kids. And what would that come out to? If you did 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, which whatever. If you did 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's it. 3 hours a day, volunteer. And the thing is, they make it sound like you have to go do something. Oh, no, you don't. Some of that can be done online, Anthony. A lot of it can be done online. You just have to contribute somewhere. Is that so much to ask? You have to contribute somewhere. Socialists are among us, as you know. Zoran the moron in New York, he's going to become the mayor. Zoran will be the mayor of New York City. 100%. Bank on it, and it's a good thing. because it's going to show how bad some guy born in, where the hell he was born, Africa somewhere, who's a communist, to come here and run America's biggest city. It'll be a disaster, unprecedented disaster. You watch, and he'll get tossed out. There'll be a recall election. Let me write that down on my list of predictions. Zoran will get elected, and then he'll get recalled. What do you bet? There's my prediction for today. I write these predictions down so I go back and find them. It's important. Anyhow, in the meantime, over in Minneapolis, another communist, Omar Fatah, running for mayor there. I want you to hear it. Here's one of his rallies, because I want you to hear what they're saying at one of his rallies. Bite 3, go.
Yeah. Virginia qabowbaa lagu dhalay laakiinse waan adopt gareynay siidarna wax badan ma joogine
What? What? Let's go back to the campaign rally. Let's hear that one more time. What? Go ahead.
Congresswoman adashayn
Yeah.
siidana ka soo wada baxnay haddaba Umar waan ka xumahayo Virginia qabowbaa lagu dhalay laakiinse waan adopt gareynay siidarna wax badan ma joogine
Yeah.
Hey, what was she saying about Virginia and Ohio? Yeah. We got people from Virginia and Ohio. Just keep an eye out.
Whoa, breaking news here. John Bolton's home raided by federal agents. That's pretty wild. Federal agents raided the Maryland home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton this morning. Focusing on potential classified documents agents believe Bolton may still possess, according to a source. He served as President Donald Trump's National Security Advisor 2018 and 2019. Not in custody, but raided. I'll be right back. Are you ready to retire? Well, let's check in on sports with our good friend Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. 9 games in Major League Baseball yesterday. Winners included Kansas City, the Athletics, Washington, Milwaukee, and San Diego. At the PGA Tour Championship at East Lake Country Club in Atlanta, Russell Henley shot a 9-under par 61 to take the first-round lead by 2 shots over world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. 5 others are at 6 under par, round 2 today in Atlanta. At the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Aruba beat Venezuela 3-1 to advance to the International Championship on Saturday, and Nevada beat South Carolina 5-3 to advance to the U.S. Championship on Saturday. In the WNBA, there were 4 games last night. Winners included Connecticut, Chicago, and Atlanta. And the Southeastern Conference announced yesterday that they will go to a 9-game conference schedule starting in 2026 in college football. This would bring them in line with the Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12 conferences. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
What's the point of that, Brock? Why a 9-game schedule?
Because now there's a possibility that the Big Ten may agree to the 5+11 playoff format that could go into effect in 2026.
What's this? What do you mean, another playoff schedule?
Well, no. They're going to expand. There's talk about expanding the playoff to 16 teams next year. You would have 5 automatic qualifiers as far as the top conferences, and then 11 at large. But the Big Ten, that was conditional. The Big Ten said the SEC had to go to 9 league games, just like the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12, just like I mentioned. So we'll see what happens after that. The SEC has played 8 league games for like 30 years now. Well, there's 16 teams in the league now, so they're going to go to 9 next year.
What is this? Do I care? I'm trying to figure out if I care.
It's fair to wonder that, yeah. But it's we'll see what happens. The Big Ten has proposed other playoff possibilities, which aren't really the greatest, but we'll see what happens now.
All right, fine, whatever. We'll take a break and be back. John Bolton's home raided by the feds. It's true. Well, he'll be up on CNN all matter and a hornet, won't he? I'll be right back. something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yes, it is. Glad to have you on board. Glad to have you on board. No question about that. Glad to have you here. We're just gonna get right to the breaking news. Just coming out moments ago, happened about 1 hour ago. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton's Bethesda, Maryland home being raided at the direct order of Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. We're told they're looking for classified documents in a leak investigation. At least that's what we're getting. I've got a short bit from Fox News on this. Go with it.
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump.
Yeah, there you have it. So let's see here. FBI agents, and this comes from Just the News. My good friend King Solomon, better known as John Solomon, King Solomon, he's the best. No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission, Patel wrote on X here a short while ago. Officials said the search of Bolton's home involved a national security case that began under the Biden administration. So the national security case was begun under Joe Biden, but was not pursued, and then it was stopped, as you just heard them mention on Fox. That is until Patel took over earlier this year. Bolton was one of several national security advisors for Donald Trump, but was eventually fired. He's become a staunch critic of the United States, says we should be involved directly in the war in Ukraine, criticized Donald Trump for meeting with Vladimir Putin and having a conversation. Earlier this year, Trump pulled Bolton's security clearance and Secret Service protection, drawing objections from senators like Tom Cotton of Arkansas, a Republican. After that action, Bolton predicted he might face further action from Patel's FBI. Well, why would he think he'd say he'd face further action? Sounds like foreshadowing from a guy who might know that he's done something wrong, might have documents he's not supposed to have, might be leaking to members of the press classified information. A lot of that going on these days, apparently. No one is above the law. The central characteristic Trump seems to be looking at in all of the appointees. Let's see here. That doesn't even make sense. And Bolton attacked Kash Patel as well. I don't think he's qualified. If there is a retribution campaign, and there certainly seems to be, he would be a central element of it. I think that's dangerous. Dangerous to you. This is the same guy that celebrated, by the way, when Mar-a-Lago was raided under false pretenses. And all of this comes at a time when just yesterday, another bogus case was ended when a $500 million civil judgment against Donald Trump was tossed out, and the judge in the case was ripped by the panel of 5 judges that looked at it. The only way Tricia James, the AG in New York, could have pulled that stunt and had gone after Donald Trump for $500 million was with the assistance of Judge Engoron, whatever his name is, doesn't matter. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening as updates come in. Meanwhile, I want to share this with you. There are a number of states where there are 0 Republican members of Congress. 0. Massachusetts, for one, has 9 House members, not a Republican. Connecticut, 5, not a Republican. New Mexico, 3, not a Republican. Let me give you the problem with that. 40% of the people in Massachusetts vote Republican. They should have at least 3 or 4 seats in Massachusetts that are Republican members of Congress, and yet they don't. And they talk about democracy and scream about Texas redistricting. In Connecticut has 42% of its voters are registered Republicans. And that's about how they vote. And yet Connecticut has 5 seats, all Democrat. At least 2 of those seats should be Republican. So there's 5 members of Congress that should be in Republican seats, 3 in Massachusetts, 2 in Connecticut. Oh, and let's go to New Mexico. They have 3 House seats. What are the numbers there? New Mexico, 44% of the state voted for Donald Trump, and yet they have all Democrat seats. So there's 6 seats. And yet the Democrats scream about democracy, and Texas is threatening democracy by this unprecedented assault, blah, blah, blah. California, meanwhile, I mean, let's just go. Let me just back up here just a wee bit, shall we? I'm going to back up today because I'm going to show you something here is what I'm going to do. I have to go find this post so we have it properly laid out. Massachusetts, 0. Connecticut, 0. Maine, 0. New Mexico, 0. New Hampshire, 0. Rhode Island, 0. Vermont, 0. Hawaii, 0. Delaware, 0. California has 9 of its 52 seats, 20% Republican. Illinois, 17%, 3 out of 17. New York, 26%, 7 out of 26. Maryland, 1 seat, 12%. New Jersey, 3, 25%. Oregon, 1 of 6, 16%. Even though, okay, so Oregon's 41% Republican, New Jersey's 46%, Maryland's less, it's 34%, but that would still get them at least 2 seats there. New York, 45% Republican. They get 26. None of this. So when they talk about fairness and all this, it's garbage. It's a lie. Maryland might be the most, behind Massachusetts, that takes all 9 and offers Republicans nothing. The fact of the matter is, Texas ought to go for 10 seats. They ought to make it 100% Republican congressional delegation in Texas. To make it fair, to make it on par with Massachusetts, Texas ought to make every one of their congressional seats red. Do that. I mean, Alabama has a Democrat seat, for God's sake. Dishonest. Completely dishonest. All right, John Bolton, we'll keep an eye on what happens there and let you know and keep you up to speed. I'll be right back. Well, let's just stay with the breaking news for just a moment. We're going to bring in the smartest, hardest working, best looking, most accomplished lawyer in the history of lawyers to help sort out the breaking news today. Of course, that means Doolin is here. Steve Doolin. He's the latest, greatest, and the best ever. Doolin, good morning.
Thanks, Gruber. You're pretty damn cool, too.
Yeah, I am. You're right. What am I laughing about? All right, let's talk. I don't know if you heard this. John Bolton's home is currently has been raided by the FBI at the direction of Kash Patel, the FBI director. Apparently, they're looking for classified documents in an ongoing leak investigation, right?
Yeah, I
what do you
saw
make of
that
it?
this morning. No details. Speculation runs rampant just within my own head. I can't imagine what it's like out there on the internet right now.
I thought you could say what it's like in my head. You should. Jeez. Yeah, I'm sorry. Are the voices in my head bothering you? Because if they are, I can't do a thing about it. Here's the thing. Kash Patel put out on X, no one is above the law, FBI agents on mission. He posted that today just before everybody became aware of this. John Bolton, an investigation was underway, but it was canceled by the Biden administration. This leaking of classified information, this is a big problem for James Comey, maybe for John Bolton. And it's interesting to watch people like Chuck Todd, the pretend journalist who used to work at NBC at a pretend news operation, coming out and aggressively attacking this as, the king, Donald Trump is attacking. These are the same clowns that cheerleaded like little girls when Mar-a-Lago was raided about 3 years ago right now, August of 22, right? These people are dishonest, disingenuous. Either nobody is above the law or everybody is. What would you say?
Of course, I agree completely. Obviously, what the political types are doing, and that includes many members of the legacy media, what they're doing is counting on short memory of voters. They are using their terminology in a one-sided way. It's sort of classical propaganda. It's the kind of stuff that we were warned against in black and white newsreels back in the 50s and 60s by people who were seriously concerned about globalist communists broadcasting propaganda within the United States. And some of us of a certain age were taught how propaganda works. And now we're getting a real-time demonstration for the past couple of decades at least of supposedly mainstream institutions engaging in the type of propaganda that was trained against back in the late mid 20th century.
I mean, I cannot disagree. I see people like Nicole Wallace. If her brains were dynamite, I don't think she could blast her way through a paper sack. And yet she's out there on MSNBC every day just almost in tears. Oh, Donald Trump's going to... Would you stop it? I mean, is there anybody in Washington, D.C. who doesn't want less crime and criminals picked up? There hasn't been a murder there in a week. Oh, he's a dictator. He's taking over D.C. Oh, really? You guys raided his home. Oh, and by the way, yesterday, another thing I wanted to ask you about, $500 million civil penalty tossed out, the judge ridiculed by a panel of judges for being completely out of control. Letitia James could not have pulled off that stunt without Judge Engeron being there to beat her partner in crime. Couldn't have happened. They say he totally ignored the law, ignored the 14th Amendment, ignored everything, right?
Yeah, scolding is a great word. The appeals panel was restrained, but obviously it was strategic. It's a fascinating case already in the sense that the actual result of the case was let stand, but the
for now
damages were reduced to zero, right?
Yeah.
So right for now, exactly, and it's probably going to be appealed again, and I'm guessing President Trump is going to probably win again.
He's going to win because here's what was said in the opinion of that I read. These are sophisticated parties, private transactions of which the banks profited greatly, millions of dollars. Donald Trump not only borrowed the money, he paid it back with interest to the great profit of all the institutions he dealt with. There was no harm to the public in any way. These are sophisticated parties talking about millions and millions of dollars. And if you think that Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million, oh, come on. I know what property sells for in Florida. You might get $18 million for the garage down there.
Certainly not. You're absolutely correct in terms of the real estate valuations. But deeper than that, I mean, when you explain the basic concepts of law to beginners, there are some basic things that we all learn that actually do apply, and then the law puts basically a gloss of vocabulary over some basic concepts, and no harm, no foul is certainly one of those concepts. Yeah. There has to be some damage in order for certain types of cases to proceed, and the court was very strategic, I think, in the way it was laid out. Did not leave Letitia James an avenue for appeal, really, and actually left an opening for President Trump to appeal, which I'm willing to bet a ton of money is going to happen, and he's probably going to win.
He's going to prevail. It's almost for sure. I mean, basically, they turned misdemeanors into felonies and ignored the statute of limitations and took these sophisticated people in massive business transactions and tried to create some fraud or nonsense anyhow.
Well, let me just say this, Steve. The what happened at the trial level in this case is a great example of why those of us who are lawyers will never say anything is certain. Because the prosecution shouldn't, right?
Yeah. That's why nobody trusts lawyers, Doolin. It's not like math. Math is a certainty. Word games are not. Anyhow, Doolin. Right. The best looking, smartest, most accomplished attorney ever is Doolin. Don't forget it. Have a good weekend.
And the best host is Gruber. Thanks, man.
All right, we're following this breaking news because this is a big deal. There's no question. FBI agents raiding the Bethesda, Maryland home of the former National Security Advisor John Bolton. We're told from what we're getting, it's part of a leak investigation. Leaking classified materials is a crime. Newsflash, James Comey. It's even a crime if you hand it to your professor friend for him to take it to the New York Times. It's still a crime. The leaks are being plugged, and if you commit a leak, you can expect the FBI to be at your house. Yeah. So there you go. John Bolton predicted he would face further action from the Trump administration. Well, why would he predict that? The war walrus. Yeah, shave your mustache, goofball. You look like an idiot. So we'll see what happens here. Dan Bongino posting, public corruption will not be tolerated. That following Kash Patel is known as above the law. Apparently, they're dead serious about this. They're not amused by any of it. Tons of FBI agents still in John Bolton's home. Dan Bongino just getting started, say some. Kash Patel just getting started, say some. Laura Loomer's laughing about it online. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Greg Kelly, the FBI knocked on his door at 7 a.m. and searched his house. All kinds of swamp plots to be found. Heard they make him wait in the driveway in his underpants. Underpants? I hate that word, by the way. I always thought it was a creepy word. Anyhow. So, let's see here. John Bolton. We're just going to find out. Just trying to find the latest here for you because it's coming in fast. Still don't have any. Well, we're going to get a press briefing on this, I'm sure, sometime soon. We're going to have to. All right. Great news. John Bolton's home. If there's a leaker, we're going to find it. I'll take a break and be back.
You're muted.
Here we are back at it, picking up where we left off, and take a detour for a minute. We'll get back to John Bolton. Ivy's going to be in here. She'll get the latest for us. I don't know if we're going to know any more, except that his house has been raided in Bethesda, Maryland. John Bolton, the former national security advisor, 2018-19 under Donald Trump, who has since become a an unhinged critic of the president. Doesn't matter what Donald Trump does, Bolton is there on TV to rip on it. Wouldn't matter. He could cure cancer and Bolton would rip on it. So his house has been raided. We're told in the search for classified documents in an ongoing leak investigation. Wouldn't it be telling if John Bolton was found to be a leaker of classified information? James Comey's going to be found that way. All these people leaking and doing all these terrible things to undermine the government, to subvert the government, the duly elected president of the United States. Makes a Tom Clancy novel look tame. Meanwhile, in Lansing, they're stuck on the budget. And it's supposed to be done by the end of September, so you've got not a lot of time on the clock. It seems that the Democrats are estranged from their governor, also a Democrat, Gretchen Whitmer. They don't seem to be getting along well these days. Gretchen Whitmer, who really, really, really wants to run for president, needs something to happen here. I'm hearing, rumors that they could shut down the government, they being the Democrats in Lansing, because they don't like what the Republicans are doing. Joining me now, State Representative Jamie Thompson. Jamie, glad to have you back on the program. All right, so are the Democrats going to shut it down? What do you think?
Since January, the Democrats have been stoking fear about a government shutdown.
Stoking fear, but they're going to do it.
Exactly. I was so frustrated with what was going on in Lansing. The attempt to get a budget done, to actually be professional, do your job, and come to middle ground on a compromise, because the Democrats in Michigan are still continuing to legislate as if they hold all three chambers, which is so embarrassing, frankly, because they lost the House because of their bullying. Their left side of the party are acting like spoiled little brats that wants to take daddy's credit card and just spend money like crazy in the state of Michigan, when that costs them to lose the majority. So when the House comes in and they say, let's do some cleanup of government, let's have some accountability, let's get rid of the waste, the fraud, and the abuse, the line by line, they absolutely refuse to come to the table for an agreement, but will continue to tell the media that it's all the Republicans' fault, that when the government shuts down, blame Matt Hall. And that is a pure lie, and it's fear-mongering. And I was so frustrated that yesterday I dropped legislation that was a joint resolution that would be a constitutional amendment to our Constitution and say that, listen, if the budget's not done by the deadline on July 1st, legislators lose pay. Your money goes away. Same as the governor. If the governor doesn't sign a balanced budget. Not
July 1st, it would be October 1st, right? I think you misspoke there.
No, it would be as of the deadline on July 1st. So this wouldn't go into effect until the next term.
Gotcha.
But it's a step in the right direction.
Okay, but the budget is due by the end of September or by October 1st, right? That's when it's not going to happen, Jamie. It's not, I don't look. The Democrats, like you said, they want daddy's credit card. Matt's not going to give it to them. No, you don't get that. So, and they're going to try to blame Matt Hall. Matt Hall's a bad guy. Matt Hall's not a bad guy. For the first time in a long time, he's actually trying to talk to everybody. I think he's been a better speaker than we've seen from either side in a while, my estimation. So, but that doesn't mean he's going to cave in. He's going to stand on principle. That's which, what a remarkable thing. Stand on principle to get things done for the people. That's kind of a different approach too, isn't it? For all of you.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Matt Hall has done a tremendous job of working with both sides. Would you ever in a million years think that Governor Whitmer would say that Matt Hall is the only one that has the sense to come up with a roads plan? Yeah, I would have never thought that. And I will tell my fellow Republicans that think that Matt Hall is caving to Gretchen Whitmer, you are absolutely wrong. What we are doing to get things moving in the state of Michigan is forcing Governor Whitmer, who is not running again, who has termed out, to realize the radical side of her party that absolutely refuses to get work done and come to a middle ground. And if she has enough sense to see that, the only way that we're going to get this done is for Gretchen Whitmer to pull Winnie Brinks by the arm into a room and say, you have to get this done. She said that there's no budget without a roads plan. Yet Winnie Brinks still seems to constantly go on the news and say, I'm refusing to compromise. We can't do schools and roads. So we're just not going to have a conversation where we've shown them over and over and over again. Numbers don't lie. We have enough money to fund the roads and fund our schools. There's black and white.
Yeah, and there's the divide right there. And you know, I was on the floor of the State House, 2 days ago? I was in there. And it's pretty clear that those on the Democrat side of the room, Governor Whitmer's lost them. Winnie Brink's just an example of that. Governor Whitmer and the Democrats, they're not on the same page at all, are they?
No, they're not. They are not.
And so, with that handicap, she's not going to get Winnie Brinks in a room. I think we're headed for a shutdown. I mean, the tea leaves tell me, and it's not going to be. Actually, it's not going to be the governor's fault. It's not going to be Speaker Hall's fault. It's going to be people like Winnie Brinks and Democrats that are intransigent that are going to refuse to do anything unless their demands are met, which they won't be. So government's going to shut down. I don't know if I've ever seen a government shut down in Michigan. What will it mean?
It has. We have had those conversations. I'm not sure on the exact time, but there has been a government shutdown under a former governor quite some years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And I think the initial step is they start closing down non-essential parts of government, maybe entrances to, there's nobody sitting at an entrance to a state park. But the process goes so long that once that starts happening, people start moving and actually coming to the table to make an agreement. And there's no reason that this should ever have to happen. You know, this is putting families, it's making families nervous. It's making schools nervous. And the making of the schools nervous is completely out of line because you can clearly show that every side wants to give more money to schools. And people will tell you, we don't need to be funding our schools because they're failing our kids. But the reality is, if the money is there and we've pulled out all the pork projects and all the politicians giving PACs money and budget line items in a school budget, what are they even doing in there? When we get all that out, we've got so much money that we have to give our kids. And we should be investing in our kids. So for all these school boards to come out and say that they're not sure if they're going to be able to give lunches and breakfasts, and they're not sure they're going to have to lay off school teachers, that is propaganda. That's fear mongering by the Michigan Department of Education. And that it just needs to stop. People need to wake up and they need to smell the coffee, frankly.
Yeah. Well, so the only thing I can find here, and I'm doing a quick search here, the only time I can find the government shutting down was 2007 for 4 hours and 2009 for 2 hours. That's it. That's all I can find. So if it shuts down, it'll be new territory for all of us. Won't this be fun? Give me something to talk about, Jamie. That'll be kind of interesting.
It will be interesting. It will be
interesting.
something for you to talk about.
Yeah, always appreciate you being here. I'll keep an eye on it. Democrats in disarray in Lansing. Thank you for being here, as always.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. All right, I'll take a break and be back with Ivy here on the program. We'll talk about John Bolton's house being raided, leaking confidential, classified information. It's still illegal. Huh. Who knew? All right, I just learned something, and it's kind of important. Apparently, they do Ivy Watch over on YouTube. I just learned this, and so it's the clock has come to that magical moment in the morning when Ivy joins me on the program. Good morning. Apparently, it's Ivy Watch every day on YouTube. That's what I just learned.
We need more Ivy around here.
Amen. Who can argue with that?
Just clear out all the guests in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, I think they'd love it. I'm fine with it. All right, so we've been watching breaking news here. Ivy Watch has come to its crescendo here, which is great. But let's talk about John Bolton, his home in Bethesda, Maryland, being raided. Apparently, something to do with a leak investigation. They're looking for classified documents that John Bolton should not have in his possession. And on people on the left, they raided Mar-a-Lago and found classified documents. Really, what did they find?
Yeah, and
nobody knows because they're talking out there.
And it doesn't matter. The fact that the prior president at the time had the documents were completely legal. He can say at any point in time that, hey, these are declassified documents now when they're in his possession, so he's allowed to do that. So that just the fact that they were even trying to get this to be a crime, it was clearly just a distraction from Joe Biden having actually declassified or classified documents in his garage. Let's remind everyone.
100% true.
It always seemed like when there was a big thing like Hillary Clinton email investigation, Donald Trump is a Russian asset. So there's always these counter.
I want you to say that again because it just sounds so dumb, and they believe this. And you got people like little Chucky Todd out there who used to work for a fake journalist who worked for a fake news company called NBC, nothing but crap. I used to work for NBC.
MSLSD.
Yeah, MSLSD. But
you need to be on LSD to actually believe anything they're saying.
Well, he worked for the mothership. He did Meet the Press or whatever. What an embarrassment. I mean, honestly. Anyhow, so here you are.
Yeah, it's the fact that when you actually start to think about this and the fact that they tried to make him out to be a Russian asset actually hurt world affairs.
Right.
Trump could have really have had a lot more impact in the situation in Russia, but because that they were the people on the left and the media, and as we know now, Obama and Clinton and Brennan and Comey and all of these people really harmed
this country.
Yeah. And the way that the president, Donald Trump, could conduct world affairs.
Yeah, let me say this.
And that is absolutely wrong.
The raid that's going on, and it's still ongoing, by the way, at Bethesda, Maryland, started about just after 7 o'clock local time, so an hour and 45 minutes ago, give or take. Apparently, they made him stand in the driveway in his underwear, John Bolton, while they raided the house. I'm glad we didn't have to see that.
It's a little embarrassing.
I'm glad we didn't have to see that. But this is hello, James Comey. Leaking classified information is illegal. They're coming to your house soon, James Comey. You, the former FBI director, are going to get raided by that very same organization.
Yeah, do you recall the James Comey actually testifying with Chuck Grassley, who said, oh yeah, there were leaks, and he was so disappointed that this was happening within his FBI.
He was asked directly, did you ever leak information through a third party? He said no. He lied in front of Congress.
Right.
James Comey is in really hot water here.
I always refer. Shouldn't he be jailed for that?
Yeah.
Lying.
Yeah, you should go to jail. If you leak classified information, it's a felony. Probably several felonies. And if you lie about it in front of Congress, I think that's a felony. There's all sorts of problems here. And you couple this with Letitia James, who's facing mortgage fraud.
How big was that yesterday?
That's huge.
That dropping of that case of, what was it?
$500 million.
Right.
And the judge Judge Engeron getting excoriated by the panel, the judge all ripping on him.
It was unanimous.
Yeah, well,
vote.
It was like a 1-2-2 decision, but in the end, the $500 million was gone. Yeah, it was parts of it were.
Okay.
You had a dissenter, then you had two guys that agreed with him on the penalty being removed, which means it's gone. And then you have the other two guys that kind of had different feelings, but they all agreed on this. Engeron was completely out of line. And Letitia James could not have pulled that stunt, that legal stunt, and attacked the president without him being her partner in crime.
Before we run out of time here, I want to actually, so there was this story talking about, continuing the illegal immigrants in our country causing havoc. But have you heard about this story of the Uber driver who picked up a guy, who was trying to pick up a guy, and he's a biotech CEO. He tries to get in the car. He has a service animal with him. And the guy's like, no, you can't get in my car. And there's an altercation. And Anthony, you could pull up that VO if you have it there. So the driver is an illegal alien.
Of course he is.
And he is Russian. He has a fake ID. He's driving for Uber, tries to pick this guy up. He says, hey, I just want to cancel my ride. This is according to him. The biotech guy
knocks him out flat cold.
He headbutts him, punches him in the face. The guy gets like 8 staples in the back of his head. The other guy like drives off and then picks somebody up a couple minutes later. This is outrageous. That it really makes me completely uncomfortable. Like, how can I go and ride in an Uber when you can't even make sure that the people who are driving your Uber cars are legal to be able to drive? 1, and 2, that there is not a safety concern. This is a big problem. He has a big lawsuit against Uber, which I completely agree with.
Absolutely. Has he filed the lawsuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll get millions. He should.
How did he get into such that's a nice Audi he was in.
Well, who knows? Drug dealing?
Well, I don't know. Just because, I have no idea. Just because, you doesn't mean that you don't have access to money. You could possibly have a debit card or a credit card or things like that. That's a good question, though, Anthony. I'm not really sure.
It is a good question. Anyhow, terrible video, horrible to see.
Maybe it's another family member's car. Who knows?
There you go. All right. Ivy Watch is over for today. She'll be back on Monday. Of course.
Thank you, guys.
Maybe you won't be back on Monday. You might be not on the air Monday.
No, I'll be fine.
Gosh darn it. That's it. Sorry, folks. Not until Tuesday. Ivy Watch Tuesday. Okay, right. Circle that on your calendar. Ivy, love you.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, all right, so it's been a busy news day already as the former National Security Advisor John Bolton's home is currently, it was raided at about 7 o'clock Eastern time, a click or two after 7 this morning, my understanding. It's still being rifled through. Reports were that he had to stand on the driveway in his underwear. Thank God we didn't have to see that. Whew. Little knobby needles. Yeah. Anyhow.
That would be mentally violating.
It would be, just little knock-kneed, bony-kneed, white as a freaking marshmallow. No, thank you. Anyhow, so that's ongoing. Apparently, from what we understand, it has to do with the leaking of classified information. I'm going to guess to media sources. James Comey, you have been warned. Yes, hello. It's the FBI. Yeah, I used to be in charge there. Yeah, well, you're not anymore, Jimmy. Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care, but he sent classified information and I do care. Anyhow. So that got that. And before I let you go today, one last warning, all right? One last warning. This comes from the State Department. The United States is warning Americans that if you travel to Mexico, you're in danger of terrorism, crime, kidnapping, murder, carjacking, armed robbery, all of it. The advisory raising the threat level to a 2. Exercise extreme caution due to the threat of violent crime, including terrorism, kidnapping, and murder. Is that all? Yeah. Hello, Mexico. How are you? Not that great, apparently. Not that great. Busy week. Next week from Washington, D.C., that'll be a special program every day from the nation's capital. Hopefully I'll get a chance to speak to the president once or twice next week. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe a ride on Air Force One again. Who knows? I'm up for it. Fight the good fight and keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. Who do you want in your foxhole? Always keep that in mind when the chips are down. And remember, only you can save America.